Hi there, welcome back to my channel. The use of AI in photography is a topic of a large amount of discussion with a significant amount of angst as to what it means for the future of photography. Although I have my thoughts on the subject, I will leave them to another video. In this series of videos, I will explore how AI chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini can help me with my photography, both by providing critique and also helping with the editing process. This series was inspired by videos by other photographers. I will leave the links in the description below so you can check them out. It is my hope that you will find this series useful and it will help you incorporate the AI chatbots into your workflow. As I mentioned, this is going to be a series of videos where I look at different aspects of my interaction with the chatbots. This first video will look at how chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini can provide general feedback on your work and help you refine it. I asked them to analyze my images as a professional photographer. I also wanted to compare whether ChatGPT and Gemini will give significantly different feedback. It should be noted that I only have a free version of the ChatGPT, and it might be possible that the paid version will give more detailed and different feedback. Before we go to the bulk of the video, there is one thing to note. I found that the more specific you were in your prompts, the more specific and more potentially useful the answers from the chatbots were. So take that into account when you work with them. With that, buckle up and let's go. Let's kind of add one image here. And let's do this one there. It's an image from Arnold algorithm, and we'll see how it reacts. So I kind of played a little bit with this, so I can. There are several prompts. The thing is you can actually ask the chatbot to suggest prompts, which is a little bit circular, but I did that, and one of the prompts is not bad in terms of kind of general questions. So let's see. So I am asking it to critique this photo as if you're a professional photographer and provide actionable feedback. And so the more detailed you are in your prompts, the better it is. We're going to look later in a more, let's see if we can ask it to kind of refine things after we get the initial feedback, and also later look at the editing suggestions. So let's see what it does. And while it's thinking, let's do the same thing with ChatGPT. I'm curious if the answer is going to be similar or not. Okay, so this is Gemini. Let's see. Overall impressions. This is a lovely close-up shot with beautiful light and subject matter. The water droplets add a wonderful element of freshness and detail, and the vibrant green of the leaves is very appealing. You're clearly paying attention to capturing a moment in nature. So it's kind of the generic overall impressions kind of tend to be generic from what I saw. And the bots generally lean into more positive things if the image is like reasonable. But let's see what are the more detailed things that it will give. Okay, strength. Excellent lighting. The soft natural light likely diffuse sunlight over overcast conditions is fantastic. It highlights the texture of the leaves and the sparkle of the water droplets without creating harsh shadows or blown out highlights. The slight backlighting on some of the leaves creates a nice glow. Okay, so it was overcast day, and it's kind of right, but it's, again, this is a little bit generic, but okay. It does give you some more details. Vibrant colors. The greens are rich and saturated, contributing to a sense of vitality and health in the foliage. Okay. Sharpness and details. The areas in focus are tucked sharp, especially the water droplets, which really stand out. Okay. Yes. The dawn redwood or similar conifer leaves with the border droplets are inherently interesting and visually appealing, compelling subject. Okay. Good depth of field. The shallow depth of field effectively isolates the main subject, blurring the background and drawing the viewer's eye to the well-focused leaves. Okay. Areas for, so it's kind of this, what it thinks is the strength of the image. Let's see what it, and let me put the image next to it so you can see actually. Okay, so let's see. Composition. Areas for improvement and actionable feedback. Composition. While the overall composition is pleasant, it feels a bit centered and lacks a clear focal point or dynamic flow. Okay. The branches, while interesting, don't strongly lead the eye through the frame. That is true. Actionable advice. Next time, try applying the rule of thirds. Imagine it. Okay, rule of thirds. Okay. Background, simplicity, and distractions. Feedback. The background is mostly out of focus, which is good, but there is still a slight variation in tones and possibly some faint shapes that could be distracting, pulling the eye away from the main subject. Okay, I understand what it's saying, although I think completely dark background here would not work as well, but that maybe. Okay, action on advice. When shooting close-ups, try to simplify the background as much as possible. Look for solid dark or uniformly blurred areas, sometimes even a slight shift in camera angle or a small step in any direction can completely change the background from busy to beautiful clean. If possible, use a wider aperture, small f number, to create even more background blur. Yeah, maybe, although here I don't think I can't remember what it was. But the problem is the depth of field. If you open up the aperture, it's gonna in close-ups you're gonna have issues with depth of field. I already have a lot of leaves out of focus, even kind of main ones, the ones that are closer to me. But yeah, you can definitely play with it depending on your scene, in the distance to your subject. But okay, this is kind of generic so far, but let's see. Honing the hero element. Feedback. There are many beautiful leaves and droplets, but the image doesn't have one single undeniable hero element that immediately grabs attention. Your eye wanders across several equally attractive areas. Okay, so it's possible, it's suggesting kind of crop, which I tried. We'll see. I'll upload the crop some image and we'll see what it says. Again, before you press the shutter, ask yourself what is the most important thing you want the viewer to see, then compose the shutter. Okay. Consider the story. Okay, the photo is beautiful, but what story is it telling? Is it about delicacy of nature, the freshness of rainwater, of rain shower, or the unique structure of dawn redwood? Think about the why behind your shot. It's about the morning dew. Perhaps a hint of light mist in the background could add to the atmosphere. If it's about the resilience of the plant, capturing a wider view of the branch might be more appropriate for this close-up. Emphasizing the fresh, vibrant drop details suggest a story of nature's beauty and new life. Consider what small elements like a tiny spider web with a droplet or a specific angle of light could further enhance the narrative. Okay. Cropping, minor adjustments. While good, a very slight crop might refine the composition. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Suggest a crop to enhance the image. I would recommend a slight crop that primarily comes in from the top and very minimal amount from the right side. Okay. Let's see. What does it do? Once slight crop coming from the top and a little bit from the right. The problem is there is no real natural place where to end the crop from the top. I actually tried in the past cropping this way because I have this area that I really like, but there was no good way to crop it. Okay, let's cancel. Let's see, reasoning. Top crop. Cropping from the top would eliminate some of the darker, less defined background area that currently sits above the main cluster. But this would help to keep your eye focused more intently on the subject. Okay, I'm not sure I agree, but okay. Very slight trim on the right side could help shift the central cluster of leaves a little further to the left within the frame, potentially moving it closer to an intersection of the row of thirds. Okay, that's basically it. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if it can do it. Create a mock-up of a crop. Let's see what it suggests. I'm not sure I understand it actually. What did it crop? Okay, I think it might have come very little from the top. And then, okay, it actually came in from the bottom quite a bit. It's a more horizontal. I mean, I think this crop works. I'm not sure how much of an improvement compared to my image it is, but okay. Let's see. We have the crop that I created actually focusing on the this area. So let's see. How about this crop? Compare it to the original image and your proposed crop. Okay, so it kind of lists original image. This is a full uncropped version of the image, provides the most context with more surrounding foliage and background visible. The subject, Dawn Redwood, is central, but there's more breathing room around it. This crop, comparison to original. This crop has taken a significant amount of the top and a noticeable, let me put the crop to show this. And a noticeable amount of the bottom and left side with a small trim on the right. What? It removed a lot from the right. Okay, I guess maybe it thinks mirror image. Okay. Brings the viewer much closer to the main subject, making the leaves and water droplets more prominent. The background is significantly reduced, making it less distracting. The overall composition feels tighter and more intimate. Okay. Comparison to my previously proposed crop. My previous suggestion was to primary coming from the top and a very minimal amount from the right side. The crop aligns with my suggestion to crop from the top, which effectively reduces the dark background and focuses the eye. However, this crop goes further by also cropping significantly from the bottom and left, creating a much tighter frame than what I had specifically described. My description was more about subtle refinement, where this crop is more assertive in its tightening. My proposal also mentioned shifting the main cluster slightly to the left by cropping from the right, which this crop also achieves to some extent by overall tightening. Okay. Critique of this crop. Strength. Enhanced focus. This crop undeniably brings the main subject into much vibrant dewy leaves, much sharper focus. The details of water droplets are even more emphasized. Reduced distractions. Okay. Increased intimacy. Almost if we were there. Stronger impact. The subject now feels more of the frame, giving it more visual weight and immediate impact. Considerations. Potential downside depending on the context. Loss of context. While it enhances the subject, it loses some of the surrounding natural context that was present in the original. Less breathing room. For some taste, it might feel a little too tight, potentially losing the sense of branch extending outwards. Okay, makes sense. This crop is a very effective and strong crop. It successfully implements the idea of tightening the composition and reducing distraction, aligning with the spirit of my earlier feedback, even if it goes a bit further than my precise description. It creates a more impactful and focused image compared to the original, allowing the viewer to truly appreciate the intricate beauty of the leaves and water droplets. Okay, so what do I think? I think it overstates how this crop is a refinement of its proposed crop. It actually it does align with its suggestions general, but the mock-up of the crop that it created was not really even close. It was very minor crop on the original, kind of making it a more horizontal, more panoramic view. And this one is really going in kind of into the image. So, but okay, interesting. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about these images. Let's go to the original image and let's see what ChatGPT has to say. This is a well-composed macro shot with a strong natural and tactile appeal. Here's a detailed professional critique, including strengths and areas for improvement. Strength, composition and framing. The diagonal orientation of the branch leads the eye through the frame in a dynamic way. The natural layering of needles adds a sense of depth, not really needles, but okay, adds a sense of depth and dimension. Lighting and exposure, the highlights on the water droplets are crisp and add sparkle, contributing to the image freshness. Exposure is well balanced, preserving both the shadows and the highlights without blowouts. Detail and sharpness. The focus is sharp and precisely placed on the central area of the branch, showing excellent texture and detail in the needles and droplets. The shallow depth of field effectively isolates the subject from the background, creating pleasing bokeh. Color and mood. The green hues are vibrant without being oversaturated. The rain droplets enhance the freshness and evoke the sense of calm and rejuvenation. Okay, so areas for improvement and actionable feedback. While the background is nicely blurred, it still contains slightly busy elements in the upper right and that could draw the viewer's eye. They keep talking about some of these like minor blurred areas. Okay. Use a slightly wide aperture, e.g. f2.8. No, 2.8 is way too open here. If I'm not mistaken, this was shot at f8 or f11 or something like that. Maybe f5.6. f2.8 from the distance that I was shooting and with the focal length I was shooting would leave very narrow depth of field, so shallow depth of field. So, okay. Subtly darken the background in post-processing to better isolate the subject. I did that a little bit, but you can probably do a little bit more. I actually like having a little bit in the background, so there is a sense that there is something there rather than just black, but okay, I guess. Depth of field. Some areas near the front edge of the branch are slightly soft. Consider focus stacking or using slightly narrow aperture. Okay, so this goes against the previous one, and if I remember correctly, this image was actually smaller aperture than 5.6. So it's kind of depends on the distance, on your distance from the subject, what lens you're using, and other stuff. So it's like, but yeah, you can, if there's no wind, you can consider focus stacking. But I actually like some of the leaves out of focus. You can probably do some of the stuff, but okay. Lighting enhancement. The lighting is natural but slightly flat. Action. Try using a subtle reflector or controlled fill light to add more dimensionality to the shadows and make the droplets pop even more. Interesting. Yeah, that's so. If this is, if you're doing, if you're shooting in your studio or even in the field, you can use a reflector to kind of shape the light a little bit. This was shot fully natural light without any reflector or anything like that. I tried to bring some dimensionality by doing some dodging and burning when I edited the image, so to create some shadows, to create some dimensionality, but you can probably emphasize a little more if you really wanted to. Okay. Color grading and tonal contrast. Mid-tone contrast is slightly low. Action in post-processing increase contrast selectively in the mid-tones and adjust clarity on micro contrast to emphasize texture in the needles. Yeah, you can do that. Be careful when you're doing it. There are areas of out of focus. You don't want to create too much contrast in those. So you want to focus kind of on the areas that are sharp. Yeah, you can add a little bit of texture. I did actually add a bunch, but yeah. Composition. Cropping optional. The bottom left corner feels slightly empty compared to the rest of the frame. Action: experiment with cropping from the bottom or left side to improve balance and focus attention on the central procedure. Summary. This is a strong image that effectively covers here. Okay. Interesting. Well, that's it for today. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like and comment. In the next video, we will explore how the chatbots can be used to refine your crops and help you with better composition in your images. If you found this video useful, you might also find my videos on printing useful as well, so check them out. And see you next time.